format of this meeting is that on alternate weeks there is a step reading or a step share. However, when there is a fifth Sunday in the month, the meeting is a topic meeting. This week is a step share. And Rob has kindly come along to share on step 9. With that, I'll hand over to Rob to share his experience, strength and hope.
I'm Rob, I'm an addict.
Hi, Rob.
Yeah, I'm really nervous, as the room was getting filled up and that, I started thinking, wow, what to let yourself in for, what I mean? Sunday morning, and there's a room full of people, it's amazing. I've been sort of down in the toilet twice to pray as well, I've been that nervous. But yeah, step 9, I didn't just sort of get to step 9 and start making amends. Obviously, I went through a process of working the steps, and when I first came to NA, I'd used for like 30 odd years, and I'd done a lot of damage in that, and I blamed a lot of people. I blamed a lot of my family for the stuff that had happened to me and why I used, and I heard somebody saying a bit of blame thrower, so I had one of them for a while. Do you know what I mean? But and I was really scared when I got here as well, and I used to hear about step 4 and that as well, and I used to think, do you know what, I ain't doing that. I just ain't doing that. I've been through enough in my life, I ain't doing it. And I sort of hung about meetings for about 18 months, and it was probably, I was sort of on a pink cloud and I was running about like a nutcase, but I was quite scared a lot of the time, do you know what I mean? I was terrified, if I'm honest, And I sort of had 3 sponsors, you know what I mean, and I was a bit all over the place, but I wasn't working a programme. And through the fear of the step 4, one of my sponsors said to me, look, get your own experience of it. Don't listen to other people's experience, get your own. So I sort of made a decision that, I would start working the steps, and, I'd done a step 1, and a step 2 and a step 3, and I got to a step 4, and I made an inventory, and a lot of my amends actually was in my step 4, people that had to make amends to, people had harmed. I made a list of people I'd harmed and all that in my step 4, and I got that in my step 8. When I got to my step 8 as well, I still had a sort of a bit of an attitude around making amends to certain people. I was sort of thought, nah, she ain't getting on it. She was a bit of a bitch, and he was this, and I only owe him money, and I ain't paying these shops back. But my sponsor sort of said to me, look, when you're doing your list, go to some step meetings and hear some other people's experience. So I started going to a few step meetings, and somebody in the room today actually, I heard him doing a step 8 chair, and he was talking about financial amends. I thought, financial amends, you meant, I'm Scottish, you know what I mean, I ain't doing that. Do you know what I mean, that ain't happening. But I sort of, I got my head around it a bit, and I sort of thought, okay then, and I put, some financial amends down on my step 8 as well, and a lot, the reading this morning was about families, just the reading was about families this morning. And step 9's been a really big sort of part in my recovery this past 8 or 9 months. I'm 3.5 years clean, and I only started making amends about 8-9 months ago. But, my mum was sort of at the top of my list, I'd caused my mum a lot of pain, a lot of harm. And I sort of, as I said, I blamed a lot of people, and she was one of the people I blamed for not being there when I was a kid. She was a single mother, and my dad had been murdered when I was a kid, so she worked really hard, trying to keep the family all together. And I blamed her for not being there and all that stuff. And I got kicked out of the house when I was 17, and my 2 brothers, I hated them, I thought they hated me. So all these people were all on my, my step 9, to make amends. As I say, about 9 months ago, I was sort of, it says here about we make timing is an essential part of this step, and it was a good time for me to start making amends. I was in position to do this stuff, and I was talking to my sponsor about going to Glasgow. I hadn't seen my family in 18 years. I just sort of disappeared, and I hadn't seen them in 18 years, and I sort of said, well, what I'll do is I'll go to Glasgow, make amends to my mum, my 2 brothers, their wives, my nieces, my nephews, immediate family sort of thing. But I didn't have any money, and my sponsor says, well, look, don't you know anybody in Glasgow that you could go to in the fellowship and maybe stay away and do it that way? And I went, well, not really. So I said, well, what I'll do is I'll save a few quid, I'll go up, get a train up, bed and breakfast, and I'll do it like that. And a couple of days later I was sitting in a meeting, And there was a guy from Glasgow on the fellowship, you know, gave me his phone number. And a couple of days after that, I went into work and they told me there was a conference in Glasgow and they would pay my fare to go to Glasgow. So I had no excuses anymore, do you know what I mean? I had to go. You know, it's that odd or God thing, I don't know, do you know what I mean? But you know, I'd been phoning my brother. You know, my brother lives with my mum, and I'd been phoning him to sort of try and build up some sort of relationship so I could go and do this stuff. And he wouldn't let me stay in the house, you know what I mean? There's just no way he would let me stay. You know, I'd stolen off him, I'd caused a lot of damage and stuff like that. But when I told him, you know, I'd been talking to him over a period of about 4 months or so, and he just, when I told him I was coming up to this conference, he went, "It's okay, you can come and stay here." And that really shocked me, you know. He'd heard the change in my voice, and I said, you know, the only time I used to phone them was for a bit of money, or I wanted his help to kill somebody. You know, I used to phone up, "You fucking got to come and help me do this," you know, really mad stuff. So, you know, but I really thought that, before I got to 9, I really thought that it was best that I just stayed away from my family. I thought that was the best way of making amends to them, really. But I found out later, just by doing that, I was causing actually a lot more harm, because they were worried all the time, you know, where I was, whether I was in prison, whether I was dead, whatever. But, you know, I went to Glasgow, and they didn't tell my mum that I was coming. You know, she's 87, well, she was 87, she's 88 now. And they didn't tell her I was coming, you know, and she walked into the living room and just started crying when she saw me. You know, she hadn't seen me in 18 years, do you know what I mean? And of course, I went then as well, do you know what I mean? And so, you know, I managed to make amends to my mum, you know, and I've been finding that really hard because, you know, as I said, my mum's 88 now and she's deaf. You know, I live in London, she's in Glasgow, and phoning her's really difficult. So I sort of made a decision recently to start actually sending her some cards and that, just to let her know what I'm doing and I'm still alright, you know, try and put her mind at ease. You know, she's going to die soon, I know that, do you know what I mean? So that's sort of, you know, my amends to my mum. And like one of my brothers, you know, like, I used with his son, who overdosed and died in my care at 24. Do you know what I mean? And I had to go and see him and sort of, you know, make amends to him about, you know, I didn't even get to the funeral, you know, I was too busy somewhere else using him. And, you know, I went to see him and I just said, "Look, I'm really sorry, you know, that I didn't take better care of David, and, do you know what I mean? If there's anything I can ever do in the future, I'm here, I'm available, I'll do anything," do you know what I mean? And he went, "Look, it's alright, Robert, I'm just glad to see you here." And he hugged me, do you know what I mean? And that really sort of blew me away, do you know what I mean? And my other brother, you know, the one that lives with my mum, you know, it was the same sort of thing with him. I just sort of said to him, "Look, I'm, you know, sorry I've been absent all this time. I'd like to be a brother. I'd like to try and do something in the future for you, the family, whatever I can do, I'm available." And he was really cool, you know, and I really hated this guy. You know, he was in my step 4 quite a lot, this guy. I hated him. But, you know, through the process of doing that, you know, and I've seen my sister-in-laws and that as well at that time, and sort of made amends to them as well. You know, but I've got 3 children, you know, and like 2 of my children I've got with one person, one with another. I haven't seen my oldest daughter yet, but, you know, she's obviously on the list as well. But my youngest daughter, you know, she's 27, and she got married when I was using, and she was getting married to a policeman, and I never got invited to the wedding. Do you know what I mean? And I was sort of went into one, and do you know what I mean? And I wondered why, and do you know what I mean? So that was something else I really had to sort of get my head around when I came out of recovery, and I realised why, you know. But she got divorced and that, and I didn't know where she was, and none of my family sort of, you know, my brother had a phone number for her father-in-law, but he didn't know where my daughter was. And, you know, unbeknown to me, he actually traced my daughter. You know, and I was sitting in work one day and I've opened my email and there's an email from my daughter. Do you know what I mean? I hadn't seen it in 10 years. And in the email she says, "Oh, you know, my Uncle John's got to give me your email address. It's really good to hear that you're clean," and all that stuff. She says, "I've got a surprise for you." And she sent me a picture of my 4-year-old grandson that I'd never seen. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, and I sort of thought, because of what had happened around my daughter and my son, my ex-missus, and that I would never see them again, you know, some sort of really big stuff happened, and I really thought that they would never want to see me again. But just before Christmas, you know, she's engaged to another policeman, do you know. She obviously likes a uniform, do you know what I mean? But she was coming to see her boyfriend just before Christmas. You know, he works in Kensington Chelsea Police Force, and I just live up the road, do you know what I mean? So another odd or God thing, I don't know. So I went to see her just before Christmas, you know what I mean? Which was fantastic, you know, and I sort of told her what I'm doing, and you know, made amends to her, and that. She says, look, Dad, you really don't need to make amends to me. I'm just glad to see you. You know, I've really missed you. I really love you. Do you know what I mean? And it just blew me away. It was fantastic. I'm feeling quite emotional actually talking about it. But, you know, she's a fantastic girl, do you know what I mean? And, you know, as a result of going to see my brothers and that as well, my nephew, my other nephew, who I also used with, my brother gave him my phone number, and he phoned me, and he's now clean as well. Do you know what I mean? He's like 7 months clean now, do you know what I mean? And doing okay. And so, you know, it's been amazing how this stuff's really just unfolded, you know. When I was in Glasgow as well, my brother sort of said, look, I've got a surprise for you. And he's took me into the bedroom. And he's gone, who do you think lives there? I went, oh, fuck do I know? I've not been here in years. And he's went, oh, Kathy. And it's this woman that's on my step 8 as well, who I've got to make amends to. And she lives next door to my mum. So, you know, another other God incident, you know what I mean? I just don't know. It just seems that since I've started doing this stuff, amends are just popping up everywhere. You know, and I've made, like one of my friends as well, you know, it was somebody that I really abused quite a lot during my years, and, you know, I thought, he's straight, and, you know, he was a good friend, and I sort of abused him financially, and grafted him for a lot of money, and all that stuff. And he really helped me on my last days of my years, and, you know, he sort of took me in till I got into Crisis Intervention Centre, and really, you know, and this guy should not have helped me, really, for the things that I'd done to him. And, you know, and it made amends to him as well. And he was the same, you know, he just says, look, I'm really glad to see that you're clean and you're getting on with your life, and do you know what I mean? So it's really been fantastic. You know, and I've had a couple of amends to make actually in recovery as well. You know, I had to do one on Friday. You know what I mean? An ex-sponsee. You know, I thought I'd done something to one of my sponsees that wasn't quite appropriate. Well, not inappropriate, but shouldn't have done something. I spoke out of turn, and he sacked me. Do you know what I mean? And I was talking to my sponsor, but I said, yeah, I'll own my part in it. And he says, but there's no part owning it. It's all yours. Do you know what I mean? So I had to go make amends to one of my sponsees. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, you know, yeah. So yeah, I really like, you know, up to now my amends process has been amazing. Do you know what I mean? And I've really got some really good stuff out of it, you know. And like my son as well, you know, my son's a using addict, you know, he's stuck on methadone, he's on quite a high dose of methadone, and one of my ex-partners as well, who's also, that I've got to make amends to. But I was talking to my, you know, I've seen my son for the first time in 11 years as well, about 5 weeks ago. And that was as a result of getting in touch with my daughter, making amends to her, you know what I mean, it's just it's amazing how it's been working. But I was talking to my sponsor about how I'm going to make amends to him, and he sort of says, well, your amends at the moment is just going to carry the message. Do you know what I mean? Obviously he's still using, you know, and all that, and I went to see them, and that was really painful. You know, I really wanted to say, look, you need to be doing this, and try to get him into treatment, and get him away from his mum, because they're codependent as you like, you know what I mean, they're really stuck with each other, and so, you know, I really want to try and fix all that. And there's a lot of other family dynamics going on with my daughter and her brother and her mum and my grandson that I really want to sort out as well. And, you know, I've got to let go of that stuff. It's, you know, I was talking about it in the reading this morning. I've got to let go of that stuff and not try to control that, you know what I mean? But yes, you know, step 9's been an amazing process for me, and yeah, it's been, you know, I wouldn't say it's been hard, you know, I had a lot of fear around going and seeing my brothers again, especially my brother whose son died, and, you know, all that stuff, but it's been, you know, I've had a lot of gifts out of it, you know what I mean, definitely. I've got the God stuff out of it, you know what I mean, I've got the gifts of recovery out of it. You know, my grandson, my daughter, you know, my daughter phoned me a couple of weeks ago and asked me to give her away at her wedding, do you know what I mean, which is fantastic, you know what I mean? So, yeah. It's been good, you know what I mean, and I've got tons more to do, do you know what I mean, but I am willing to do them, you know. And you know, I've made amends to somebody in the rooms as well asked me to do a chair for them one time, and she couldn't remember me. Bad ribs would try to rip her off when I was using, and I sort of made amends to her for that as well. And I went into a detox a couple of months ago, and there was somebody in there as well who was on my step 8, but I haven't actually made amends to her yet, but she's getting clean, and that's stuff for the future. But yeah, I suppose I went on long enough, so I'll leave it there.
Thanks, Robbie. Fantastic. Thank you. The meeting is raised hand sharing. Who's going to be the Frankie? Frankie will choose the sharers this week. Please share your experience on this step. Please be mindful of your sharing time. There is no limit. However, when you reach 5 minutes, I will let you know with this card. Can you please acknowledge that you know? The last 10 minutes is reserved for newcomers. The meeting is now open.